Hello, Pitch Warriors. We're live with Pitch Wars Live. This is the first show with some amazing young adult mentors. You're in for a treat. We've been hamming it up for like an hour back here. But I am your host, Nikki Roberti. I am a YA author repped by Laura Bradford of Bradford Literary. And I'll let these lovely ladies introduce themselves. So we will start with Amy.
Hey, everybody. My name's Amy Salter. I'm the author of Every Ugly Word, and I am absolutely stoked to be here. And I can't tell you how excited I am to read, especially contemporary romance. But anything romantic you want to talk to me.
Are we moving on to me now?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know if I was supposed to wait for you. Sorry, hi, I'm Alicia Clancy. I'm an assistant editor at St. Martin's Press. I'm really excited. This is my first Pitch Wars, so I am ready to go in and read all the YA. I'm looking especially for contemporary romance that's either really light and sweet or dark and gritty. I'm like either or. And I like to laugh and cry. And then I also am really excited about fantasy YA, sci-fi dystopian, really all YA. I love it all. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Judy. I work as an editorial assistant at Entangled. And for Pitch Wars, I'm really looking forward to dark contemporary and dark fantasy. I'm very excited.
Hi, I'm Mindy McGinnis, and I work the Female of the Species. I'm represented by Adrienne Ranta, who she was with Wolf Literary, and she's now with Foundry. I am co-mentoring with Kate Carius-Quinn, and we are interested in YA pretty much across all genres. We both write across genres, fantasy, historical. Romance probably won't fit with us as well, but anything quirky or edgy or dark, we're your girls.
And Lindsay, you're next.
Hi, I'm Lindsay. My debut was a contemporary romance, new adult that came out in March, called The Heartbeat Hypothesis. I landed my awesome agent through Pitch Wars last year with my young adult sci-fi manuscript. Overall, I am a young adult and new adult mentor. I still believe in new adult, even though a lot of people don't. I'm mostly looking forward to seeing lots of romance. Give me all your swooning romance, please. I also love sci-fi, light fantasy, and magical realism. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Hi. Hi, I'm Lisa Amowitz. This is my second year. Can you hear me? Suddenly everything went dead.
We can hear you.
Oh, okay. This is my second year as a Pitch Wars mentor, and last year was so much fun for me. This year I'm changing a little bit what I'm looking for as my own tastes have evolved. I would say I'm going more wholly into fantasy. Not dark, nothing too fluffy. I don't like fluffy. No fluffy. No romancy romance. I'm the anti-romance person. But I mean, I like some romance in my darkness. And also sci-fi. I'm really into it now. Space operas, I guess you could call them. Okay. Oh, yes. And I have a book that came out in 2015, and my agent is Shannon Hassan.
Hi, everyone. I'm Natalka. My first book just came out June 6th. It's called Welcome to the Slipstream. It's a contemporary. My agent is Kate Johnson at Wolf Literary. She's amazing. I love her. I am looking for also the dark, weird stuff. I'm probably not a good fit for a light romance. I'm probably not a good fit for a hard sci-fi, but everything else I'm really interested to read. I want something unusual, funny, even dark funny would be great. But overall, I'm just like really excited to read all these stories. And this is my first year as a mentor, I should add.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Skye. I am co-mentoring again this year with Stacey Trombley. Our team name is Team Ginger Snap, so I'll give you 2 guesses what that's about. My agent is Sarah Manning from the Bent Agency, and my debut comes out next June. It's called Arrowheart. It comes out with Hachette Kids, and I'm super excited about that. I'm going to have to fight most of these mentors for the dark contemporary fantasy, it sounds like. But unlike them, I do like my romance. I'm a love type of girl. So if you got some dark, twisty romance stuff, send it my way.
And I'm looking for like funny stuff. Dark things give me nightmares, so I'm the weird one of the group. But I'm looking for everything except heavy fantasy. So I like contemporary, historical fiction, sci-fi, light fantasy. But I have to say this now because I always get tweets. I am afraid of ghosts. Do not give me a ghost story. Do not tell me it's a friendly ghost. They scare me. Even the friendly ones. I had a traumatic experience in kindergarten. Anyway, so we're gonna get the show going. So this is how we're gonna work. So far, we have almost 100 viewers. So thank you for tuning in, guys. We are very excited to have you join us and get to know us better. We would love to answer your questions. So if you could tweet at #AskMentor, our amazing Twitter captain, Ruth Ann Snow, is going to be filtering them in, and then I'll be asking some of my own questions. Oh, we got one already, guys. So let me know who would like to take this. What describes dark fantasy? Anyone want to take a crack at that? Mindy.
If half your cast dies, that's pretty dark. Also, anything unexpected. So like typically, you know, the dog doesn't get hurt. In all the action films, you always see, you make sure the dog gets out of the house before it explodes. They always show you that. So if you're getting a little edgier, if you're harming pets, if you're harming some of your main characters, anything that would make your mom go, oh, you know, that might be a little more dark. My mom's kind of sensitive, but I mean, you know. But yeah, that's definitely leans a little more dark, I would say.
You know, for me, fantasy usually is dark. Fairy tales are dark. So I would say I wouldn't want fantasy that was too light, you know, because I think that that's the exception as far as I'm concerned. So I don't know.
It's also not, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's not also like just physical darkness. It can be emotional darkness. So if your main characters or the characters on the screen are really struggling with some like dark things in their life, whether it's an alcoholic parent or depression or an eating disorder, anything that isn't a happy emotion is a dark emotion. So yeah, it can be emotional as well.
And we had another mentor pop up. I would love to introduce the amazing Kit. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi. Sorry, I was struggling with some technical difficulties, but restarting the router for the win. We're good now. I'm Kit Frick. I'm mentoring YA. I'm so excited. It is my second time mentoring Pitch Wars, and I really cannot wait for the sub window to open. I know it's still a couple weeks away, but am I supposed to be, I can say my genres, right? Okay.
Yes. What would you like? What are you looking for?
I am looking for mystery, thriller, and suspense. And I am looking for contemporary with a speculative or magical element in it. So those are the 2 subgenre umbrellas of YA that I'm really excited to see in my inbox.
Awesome. And I just got a request that as you guys answer questions, since we don't have name tags this year because technology hates us, if you could introduce yourself before you answer each time so everyone can keep track, that would be great. Thank you for that question. And anyone else want to touch on dark fantasy before we move on? Okay, so the first question of the night, well, second question technically, I guess, is what is your biggest pet peeve, whether it's in queries, opening pages, overall in a book, grammar? Go for it. And we're going to start with Rebecca.
Am I unmuted? Okay. Hi, I'm Rebecca Sky. I have a pet peeve that I've had for a really long time, and I mean, if I see it, like, I actually cringe, and it's just one tiny little word, only 4 letters, and it's when somebody spells a lot as if it is 1 word and not 2. That just drives me bonkers. Like, I literally get twitchy. So please, please don't send me any queries or first pages with a lot written as 1 word. Okay? A space L-O-T.
Amy's turn.
Sorry, I was having technical difficulties. I'm Amy Salter, and pet peeves for me, a little bit different. Queries, I hate when people are either vague. In other words, you're telling me that something terrible happened, like in those terms, or you're telling me that a dark past is coming back to haunt somebody. I want to know what the dark past was, at least an element of it. And in terms of actual pages of stories, I really can't stand melodrama. And by that I mean people saying things that real people don't really say, or guys that talk like really enlightened, emotional women. Anything that feels implausible or very dramatic, I struggle with those.
Okay, I think I'm next.
Yes.
Okay, this is Alicia. The biggest pet peeve I have is with queries, and it is when authors, no offense, especially debut or unpublished authors, use the biggest, most best-selling comparative titles that they can possibly find. Like, I'm the next Harry Potter, and as much as I might love your novel, it's probably not the next Harry Potter. But I hope all of you do get the next Harry Potter. Every one of your novels to be the next Harry Potter are really, really slim. So try to find more realistic comparative titles. And also, when you're comparing a title, don't just pick something that has sold really well that actually isn't a really good comparison to your book. Just because it's a fantasy doesn't mean it's at all the right comparison for your fantasy, or just because it's a contemporary doesn't mean it's the next Rainbow Rowell. So just find books that are actually a similar feel or a similar voice to your own, and use those comparative titles rather than just something that you think is going to immediately impress agents or editors, because we see those comp titles all the time and it means nothing to us.
I'm sorry, I'm Judy Lauren again. My biggest pet peeve actually encompasses both query letters and manuscripts, and it's when you get a query letter that doesn't match the manuscript whatsoever. Sometimes you get a query letter and people work really hard on them, you know, and so you request it and then it comes out and it's absolutely nothing close to the query letter. So, I mean, I would just really recommend, and don't be afraid of, like, in your query letter, actually state what your story's about. You know, and if that's what people are aiming for, that's what they're going to request. There's nothing wrong with it.
I'm Mindy McGinnis, and I think my biggest pet peeve for queries would probably be opening with a rhetorical question or ending on a cliffhanger. Will they survive? Well, quite frankly, I don't care because I haven't met them yet. I will say that, honestly, I don't actually read the query thoroughly. I usually just go straight to the first pages. I will look at the query to see what the genre and also the word count is, because unless you have an extreme world building need, like a very high fantasy, it really doesn't need to be over 100,000 words. It just shows that you haven't edited. So that would be a pet peeve for me. When it gets to the actual pages, the manuscript, over description of physical characteristics of your characters. It kills me every time. I dislike it intensely because I don't care what color their eyes are. I don't care what color their hair is. I don't care how tall they are. That doesn't matter to me. That doesn't tell me who they are. So that's a pet peeve for me. Definitely don't over describe physical characteristics.
Hi, again, Kit Frick. I think that in terms of pages, something that I wouldn't say this is necessarily a pet peeve, but it's certainly a issue that I've noticed that comes up again and again and again, is opening at a moment that feels super high stakes and exciting because it happens to be a tense moment in the manuscript, but it's not necessarily the right place for the book to begin. I think that there is a sort of urgency surrounding beginning your book at a place of high stakes, which is completely true if it is a place where the main character is faced with making an important decision, or there's something that's emotionally high stakes for them. But I don't necessarily need to, especially because I am looking for mystery, thriller, and suspense, and this is an apt comparison, I don't necessarily need to begin at the point where the character is running through the woods and being pursued, because that has been plucked from a place later in the manuscript and slapped in the first chapter so that I'll begin with an exciting moment. I want your story to start where it needs to start, even if it feels a little bit slower. So that urgency to start with the most high tension place is a, not necessarily pet peeve, but certainly a mistake that I see.
Lindsay, would you like to go next?
Sure. Okay, I'm Lindsay Friedman, and I'd have to say one of my biggest query issues that I have, pet peeves, would be when it doesn't start out with the main character as the very first line. Like the query shark recommends the character name be the very first, word in your query. I don't necessarily think that's true or has to be true, but if their name is not in the first sentence, I don't know, it's suspicious to me. It doesn't give me much confidence to read the rest. And also, if there's a romance plot within, a sci-fi or fantasy that is important enough, it belongs in the query, and I feel like that doesn't happen all the time. But if it's not a big deal to the overall plot, then it's not necessary. Peeves in chapters, I definitely and it when it opens with character dialogue, since we have no idea who your characters are. It doesn't let us ground into the world immediately, and I'm like, who's doing what? And also a lot of the other previous mentors' pet peeves I agree with, like the word a lot, or using the word all right correctly. And yeah, I don't also care about 1,000 descriptions of your character and setting. Not early on, and not in excess, just enough to visualize it.
Awesome. Lisa, would you like to go next?
Okay, I would. Hello. Well, I would say with queries, what really annoys me is very rambling and vague queries. I mean, that's like a non-starter for me. If I don't really know what you're talking about in the query, read the pages. And I've been surprised at times where sometimes there's a discrepancy between the query and the quality of the pages. But, I like nice queries, 3 paragraphs, boom, boom, boom. Get to the point, don't be gimmicky. I'm not really impressed with gimmicky queries. And I like to help people fix their queries. So, if you're really nice to me before the window opens, I might, help. But, okay, so as far as pages, I think, Kit, you mentioned about knowing where to start the story. And I think that's really important because I think people just don't always know where to start the story. They just either start at some exciting moment that has nothing to do with what's going on. I'm interested. I want to hear your voice. I want the voice. That's what I want right away. It doesn't have to be a moment of high tension. And one of my really, really, really big pet peeves is when people describe physical action by saying things like sweat from my brow with my hand, things like that. That drives me nuts. If I see that in the first paragraph, I am not reading anymore. That's it. I'm done. Okay, I got a lot of pet peeves, but voice is everything, and I'll forgive a lot of those pet peeves if you got a great voice. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Natalka Burian here. I don't have any pet peeves. I'm very forgiving. I think that for everything that I can think bothers me, I can think of an exception to that when I've been stunned and amazed by how someone has turned something on its head. And when it comes to query letters, I, like Lisa, love to work on query letters. I have a strange fascination with them. So I actually would love to work with someone with a flawed query letter. I plan on reading pages regardless, just because I think that's where you connect with the story. But for me, it's all about connection with the story, and I would overlook any pet peeves I had if I saw potential there.
Rebecca, would you like to go now? Did you start? You started. Oh, it's my turn. Ha! Okay, so that was so fascinating. And for the people who've joined, I've been watching the number climb, climb, climb. These are your amazing YA mentors for the first ever this year, Pitch Wars live show. We're going to start doing rapid fire of questions because we are getting a lot. And if you're just joining and want to know how to get your question asked, please tag it at #AskMentor. And if it doesn't get asked live, a lot of us will go on later, and there's other mentors on the feed as well. So the next question is from Heidi Christopher, and it's any YA mentors looking for anti-heroes? Anyone? Okay, Amy, want to talk on that for a brief second?
Okay, so I'm Amy Salter, Amy L. Salter on Twitter. I'm not specifically going to list in my wish list that I want anti-heroes, because to me they have to be organic. They have to be wonderful. I love a good anti-hero, but it's really hard to deliver them well, in my opinion. So yes, if you have them and they're contemporary romance, if they're an issue book, if they're anything that's sort of set in the real world, but maybe you've got a little twist. I write magical realism, so I would definitely go for an anti-hero there. Also, anything like that, if you've got it, I would love to see it.
Cool. And Rebecca, you said you were interested in that as well?
Yeah, I'm totally into anti-heroes. Our last year mentee, her main character was an anti-hero, and she went on to get a huge book deal, so I'm just going to plug that. But if you've ever read a book by Pitch Wars mentor Mindy McGinnis, she's pretty rad. She's down there. Hi, Mindy. Her book, The Female of the Species, has like some of the best anti-heroes, and I am so in love with that book. If you have something like that, send it to me. Don't even bother with Mindy. I mean, like, she can write it, but she can't mentor it, right? But yeah, I just love it because I really believe that we're all flawed individuals, and if you can write a really flawed character that makes me still want to root for the good in them, yeah, that's something special, and I think it really translates well in books. So send me your anti-heroes. I am super stoked for them. It is written in my wish list, so I think it's like one of the top things.
Cool. Mindy?
I was just going to say it might be on Rebecca's wish list, but it's in my genetic code. So
The war in Pitch Wars is coming out, guys.
Yeah, so, well, my pitch was going to be, I wrote The Female of the Species, so yes, I love anti-heroes, but then Rebecca was, like, totally awesome and like, pitched my book for me, so that was great. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I will look at it, but someone else said it earlier, by all means, voice is what matters the most, so, and Rebecca said, they're hard to write, they're hard to nail, so if you can do that, cool.
And Lindsay, you raised your hand?
Yes, I did. Again, I'm Lindsay Friedman, and I would love an anti-hero story. I'm all for the tortured hero, nitty-gritty background. So I agreed. They are hard to pull off well, but I am a huge fan. So send them all to me, please.
Awesome. So our next question is from Danny Donegan.
Sorry,
Lisa. Lisa also likes anti-heroes. Sorry.
I really like anti-heroes, and I think it would be really terrible of me not to, considering I think two of my published books have, anti-heroes. And my current WIP, I guess you guys is an anti-hero, flawed. I would call them unreliable narrators. But a real anti-hero, like a villainous anti-hero, like from Vicious, Victoria Schwab's Vicious, or another one is Marie Lou's latest book. I think it's Young Elites. I think that's what it is. A really good villain. And I will say, if she's watching right now, I read a WIP of a mentee. She's not submitting that, but she's got a really good anti-hero. So yes, send them to me. If they're well done, they got to be likable. They can't be horrible. They have to still be likable. But yes.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks for that. And then our next one is from Danny Donegan. How open are mentors to manuscripts with mental health issues in an own voices manuscript? Let's have one person take this. I see Alicia nodding her head.
I feel like this can be a very short answer. I think a lot of people are very open. It's real life, and that's what we're looking for in YA a lot of times. Sometimes you want escapism with fantasy, but definitely in contemporary especially. Yeah, send it. I'm sure there's quite a few of us with it on our wish list.
Definitely. Especially own voices. I think there's something extra powerful about writing from a place that's really personal in that area. Next question will be for all of us. It's from Alice Cross. What are you most looking forward to in regards to working with your mentee? And we are going to start with Natalka.
Okay, I am so excited about the possibility of transformation, and specifically from a structure perspective. I learned so much writing and editing my first book about how to use plot to move the story forward, how to keep the reader turning pages, and if you have an issue with pacing and with plot, I would love to untangle that and streamline it. And I'm just really looking forward to working with someone who has that particular issue. But overall, yeah, just transformation. I'm just so excited about that.
I'm Rebecca. I love editing. It's a really weird thing. I know a lot of people hate it, but I love it. Like, it's my favorite part. And I love the community that comes with Pitch Wars and the relationship between mentor and mentee. And so to be able to be emotionally attached to somebody's work you're editing, that doesn't normally happen. Usually you edit for people. And to kind of be there for the whole process is really exciting for me. Like, my mentees become like my babies, and I love them, and then they become my BFFs. And so it becomes like building a community and a family, and that's a really exciting part of Pitch Wars and the whole mentor-mentee relationship. So that's kind of a twisted, garbled answer to that question.
To me, I'm Amy Salter. To me, the process of helping somebody and I don't say that to be noble. When I first started writing to try to get published, I had no clue what I was doing, just absolutely none. And a published author saw sort of a seed of something in my very first manuscript and invited me into a critique group that was full of agented and published authors. And not only did it change my skill level immensely, but it changed my life. The relationships that you develop because you're so invested in this work, in what you're doing, and you become invested in each other's. But also, nobody understands the writer life like another writer. And to me, you know, if I pick somebody out of this pile and I say, look, I love your baby, I'm not going to walk away when that baby's 2 years old. You know, we have a relationship at this point. And for those of you, I mean, I adore being edited, but I also really love to critique and edit for other people. I know some people are on right now looking. I'm running a competition tonight. If you want to maybe win a critique from me, if you use hashtag #SaltyCrit and send me something funny, then you'll go in the draw, and I'll draw that later tonight. But to me, that whole interaction that happens where I get to know you and your work and you get to know me and mine, that's going to last way beyond, you know, the next few months. So I'm really excited to do that and to watch you and your skill change and take steps, because sometimes it takes somebody who's one step further or 3 steps further along the line to help you shift gears. And that's what I really want to see happen.
Hi, it's Alicia. I am most excited about Pitch Wars for my future mentee, whoever he or she or they may be, to get an agent and then get a book deal, because it's totally going to happen, because we're going to be an amazing team and I'm really, really excited. When it comes to the actual editorial process, my favorite part are finding plot holes, maybe a line that you started in your manuscript and you had an idea and then along the way it kind of dropped off. One of my favorite things as an editor is fleshing those out and getting you to go a little deeper and to explore the areas that maybe you didn't go into quite deep enough.
Judy.
Sorry, I couldn't get myself to unmute. I'm Judy. I am really, really looking forward to basically finding a project that I fall in love with. Last year, I fell in love with quite a few, and I ended up with a few mentees. But I still talk to all 3 of them. Lindsay, who's on the chat, is like one of my really close friends now. So as far as a mentee goes, that's a lot of fun for me. But as far as editing the actual project goes, like pretty much what the other said, I love helping you with something that you may not quite be able to do on your own. And I really, really love working as a team. There's something about brainstorming with somebody else that is just so much fun. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Okay, well, I'm Mindy, and I'm going to go a different route and say I really am looking forward to making my mentees cry. The reason for that is I was an athlete in high school, and the best coaches I ever had made me cry. And they would tear you down all the way down to the ground, and then you come back the next day, and they're just like, cool, you're back. And they build you back up. And those are the best coaches I ever had. And it's, I think, a key component of how I mentor. Kate Carries Quinn is my co-mentor, and she's nicer than I am, so we have a good little balance there. But you need to be ready for that. If you want me to be your mentor, I will tear you down. For every positive comment, you will get 3, not necessarily negatives, but 3 suggestions of this needs work. So if you're into me, know that I might make you cry.
I want you to mentor me. That sounds fantastic.
I'm rough, man.
And you know, let's be honest here, the publishing industry is fueled off of author tears. So might as well get that practice in now. Kit, you're next.
Okay. Wow, Mindy, you are a tough act to follow. I don't know how I got after Mindy in the order. Damn. Okay, so I would say I'm really looking forward to developmental editing. Developmental edits are my jam, and I really feel like editing is a collaboration between the editor's insight meeting the writer's creative spark. So I love the moment when my mentees take a piece of editorial feedback that I think is really insightful and on point and I know is going to help them, and then they manage to transform it into something even more amazing than I had ever imagined on the page. So I'm really excited for the editorial process. I'm excited to see what my mentees are going to do, because I know I'm going to be able to help my mentee, and I know that they're going to then just completely blow me away with their creative transformation. And I'm also just really looking forward to the relationship between me and my new mentee. I love staying in touch with mentees, and this is really about so much more than just the contest. Our relationship goes beyond the contest into the query trenches and beyond, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Lindsay.
Hi again, it's Lindsay Friedman. Okay, so aside from looking forward to all the awesome GIFs I'm going to share to you, GIFs, I don't know, there's debate on how it's pronounced. Hopefully you'll reciprocate, because I enjoy a good fun time. And I also am mostly looking forward to the relationship me and my mentee will have far beyond this contest, and helping you with your script and eventually finding an agent, whether it be through pitch wars or afterwards. I am there. And just like Judy Lauren said, yes, she was my mentor last year, and yes, we are the best of friends now. And she still answers all of my late night, oh my God, what do you think of this? So I can only expect to return the favor going forward. I'm pretty great about finding plot holes and character inconsistencies or issues. And I'm also pretty good about upping romance if that needs more upping, because for some reason I'm a romance writer and my books always need more romance in them during edits. But I look forward to having lots of fun and making a connection and helping whoever my mentee ends up being in any way I possibly can.
And Lisa, bring us home on this question.
Okay, yeah, best for last. Well, I have a little bit of a reputation of being tough. I look sweet and dainty. I am sweet and dainty, but I'm also, you know, I feel a little kinship there with Mindy. I might make you cry, but then I will dry your tears, and I'm really, you know, I'm like your Jewish mother. I'm gonna tell you what you got to do. I'm not gonna mess around. I'm gonna be honest, and I love this. You really have no idea how much I love this. I do this voluntarily. Ask Amy. And Amy, I got to give her a plug. She is woof good. But I love this. And that's why I really have to be passionate about who I choose, because I am going to just give you everything. I'm going to sweat over your manuscript like it's mine, probably even more than it's mine. And I'm going to talk to you at midnight, if you could handle me. I'm intense, as you can probably tell. I'm a New Yorker. I'm intense. And you could ask my baby Adam from my mentee from last year. It was wonderful. It was intense. We play a lot on Twitter. We have a lot of fun. We get silly. We make a team. There's a lot of goofiness, but hard work. And I'm there for you. There. So, okay.
Awesome. We just got we got a bunch of questions. Keep them coming, guys. Thank you for those who are watching and asking. We were trying to get to as many as we can. I want one mentor to answer the following. So first person to raise their hand that I see. How do you make queries strong when they aren't personalized to mentors? Who would like to answer that one? Let's do Alicia. You're still
yeah, I was saying I have to figure out how to unmute, but to myself. My impression, maybe I'm not right about this, but I don't see why you can't personalize it to your mentor. You're going to be going on the blog hop. Once that's open, you'll see their wish list. And if your manuscript falls in their wish list, that's why you're choosing to submit to them as a mentor. So there's no reason you can't bring that up and say, like, I saw you look for this, or I know you worked on that, or I know your book is like this. And I think you might like mine. Is that not like
I think
allowed?
some people get nervous with that because technically you send one query to 4. And we all see who it's sent to. So I guess in theory, if you really wanted to personalize, they could be like, Nikki, here's why. Alicia, here's why. Or all 4 of you, here's why. But
then I'll totally revise my answer and just say, make sure that the 4 that you're sending it to have something about your manuscript on their wish list. And as long as it's something that they've already mentioned, then it's going to feel personal because they know that they asked for it. So
that's a really good point. And I don't think a lot of people even attempt personalizing, so I love to see that. And I did notice last year, and I mean, you guys probably feel the same way, usually you get a lot of submissions the same as a bunch of other people, like you see the same names in those 4, because we do all ask for a lot of similar things. So that's a great strategy, I think. Another question is from Amelia Hollinsworth. Where does YA start versus middle grade? Lindsay, would you like to take that? Were you raising your hand or adjusting your glasses?
I wasn't raising my hand, but I'll answer it.
Okay, great.
Okay, so I'm not the biggest MG reader, but I would say it sort of depends on age, like 12 and under, even though I feel like 13 is still kind of pushing it for me. Like a 13-year-old could still be the star of a young adult novel, but I guess it just depends on, like, if you're going for a younger audience or like an upper YA, like, which is, I think, more common nowadays, at least in the books I've been reading, to have, like a 16, 17-year-old protagonist. But it also has a lot to do with voice. I mean, if your character sounds like a girl, and it might be better placed as a middle grade, but depending on her life and her voice, like if she sounds teenage enough, I think, to me, that makes it more placeable within a young adult. It's not like a hard fact answer, I guess, but that's my opinion of it.
Awesome, thanks. Is there anyone else who wants to touch on that?
Yeah, I'll just jump in real quickly to say that there's a really great Writer's Digest article that I will tweet out after this chat that breaks down YA and middle grade in terms of the things that Lindsay was hitting on, voice and age. I would say 14 for me is sort of the upper middle grade, and 15 is sort of the beginning of young YA, to put it in like very basic terms. But I will tweet out that article because it is a great breakdown of the YA MG divide.
Awesome, thanks. Now this one, we've been getting this asked by different people in different ways. I'm just going to combine it together. How do you feel about happily never after, or a bitter, sad ending? And I'll go first on that. Personally, I know a lot of people who like that. It's not for me. I need a little bit of happy for me. It doesn't have to be like a romance. You could totally have like the girl not get with the guy at the end, I'll be fine with that. But if like everyone dies and it's like, well, that's life. I will sob myself to sleep at night. Anyone want to touch on that? Mindy?
You can totally give me a book where everyone dies. I would love to read that. I would love to see how you wrap that up at the end. That would be a challenge. I absolutely, if you've read anything that I've ever written, you know that Happily Never After is totally my cornerstone. So yes, Kate Carries Quinn and I are co-mentoring together, and both of us are very cynical. So bring it.
Awesome. Amy, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I just want to let people know I am not the mentor for that. I mean, that's a hard no for me. I want either Happily Ever After or Happy for Now. And that's just because that's what I enjoy to read, and that's what I'll be the most passionate about. So I don't want people to waste their applications on me. If you have, I love hard and gritty during the course of the plot. I love it looking like this is never going to work out. But I don't, at the end, I want to feel good. I want to feel good about where they're at, that they're safe, and that something positive is either happening now or about to happen.
And Lisa, you wanted to jump in, you said?
Okay. I mean, I guess it depends how you define happily ever after. I don't need everybody to be happy. I could have like a Hunger Games ending where there's been a lot of tragedy. It's fine. But I like it to end up in a place, I think what you said, Amy, was everybody's safe. Yeah, like I don't want it to be like devastation complete, their hopes are destroyed. So I think the key here is hope. And I think that's what distinguishes YA, probably why I like to read it, from adult, is that there's, no matter how dark or difficult the narrative is, it always ends on some kind of a note of hope. A lot of tragedy. But yeah, so that's
And
where I'm
Natalka,
at.
you said you wanted to jump in?
Yeah, definitely send those to me. I love a dark ending. I love sort of, especially if you can still make it a satisfying conclusion. I think that's sort of the key. It can be very sad, but I do need some kind of resolution. But definitely send those darker endings to me for sure.
And as you can see, guys, we're all different, and that's why the blog hop is so cool. Because I mean, we all love different things. We all have different strengths, and so you're getting the first, look into that. So good job for being here. Great research. We have a question from Justine Ulrich. Is it okay for a YA book to have a protagonist that isn't a teenager? Would someone like to touch on that? Lindsay.
Okay, so I think it depends if is the protagonist the main character, like as in a girl who has, like, there's a difference between a girl being or her having a 19-year-old boyfriend. Like, if the cutoff for young adult is rather strict, so like 18 is like pretty much the max that I've come across. And they can't be in college, so if they're taking a year off, that's about as far as you can push it for like the main character. But then if that main character has a girlfriend or boyfriend who's an adult, like a young adult still, like as in 19, 20 tops, and so it's definitely okay. I like to read books about that. I wrote one with a girl having a boyfriend, and it's sold as YA. But like, if it were a dual point of view, I don't know if it would really fit, unless, I don't know, like, in my opinion, 19 is still fairly young, and I think young adult kind of flows into new adult territory and distinction, but sadly there is. So hopefully I answered, yeah.
Yeah, no, that was great. Thank you. So we are in the last 10 minutes. So if you have any burning questions, and if you haven't gotten to your question yet, don't worry. A lot of us, including mentors who aren't on here, will totally be on the feed. As I wait for our beautiful, amazing, oh, she already sent me next question. Well, I'm going to do a plug anyway. My new mug came in. It's from Writer's Life Apparel, and it's a Pitch Wars mug. You know you want one of these. And my beautiful shirt. So go ahead and go to Writer's Life Apparel. They're on Teespring, and they're on Twitter, and they're a partner with Pitch Wars. The sales from these go towards making the community better. Like as you saw this year, we are starting webinars. We're just adding to the community to be there for you. So if you want cool swag with the Pitch Wars logo, or even there's other writer type stuff, go check it out. Our next question is from Sabrina Lamarck. I apologize if I butcher any last names. For those who said they didn't do romance, did that even mean romance as a subplot? Who would like to start with this? Natalka?
Oh, sorry.
Natalka, would you like to go first?
Yeah, no, I love romance as a subplot. It just can't be the whole plot for me. Like, I definitely am there for a multifaceted character with every kind of experience. I think the more you can bring to your character in whatever, vehicles in the plot, I think the better. But it just couldn't be solely romance for me.
Awesome. Judy, did you say you had a thought on this?
No, I was scratching my lip.
Oh, my bad. Okay, Lisa.
But yeah, I'm totally down with romance. So.
Okay, cool. Lisa, did you have a thought?
Yeah, I love romance. I mean, I don't want to give you the idea that I don't. I love it in my dark fantasies, I really do. But if it gets to be just this same trope of the insta love, and it's all about the love, and that's the whole plot, that's it for me. I'm not interested. I mean, if it's there, great. If it drives the narrative, great. But it's just, it can't be the whole plot for me.
For me, I have to say, I love romance, but I don't like super make my mama blush romance in YA. So I'm that fine line person. And if you read my blog for the wish list thing, you'll understand me. So, and especially no ghost romance. I'm so not down for the ghosts. Just have to throw that out there again. Casper cannot go to prom with me. Okay. Cassie Miller would like to know the clarification between YA and new adult. Who would like to touch on this? Kit.
Sure, I can address that. New adult is generally the classification ends. Young adult goes through high school and decisions that adolescent characters are making. So you can certainly have YA that's out of a high school setting. I don't mean high school as it has to be set in high school. I mean high school years. Once characters are making adult decisions that we associate with college, whether or not the character is actually in college or on a college campus, then we're getting into what editors and agents will consider to be new adult territory. It really has to do with the life decisions that the characters are facing. If you want to break it down by age, you could say 18 is the cutoff for YA, 19 begins young adult. There is some flexibility there. That's not like there has never been a YA with a 19-year-old protagonist. That's clearly not the case. But once that character is making life decisions that have to do with being outside of high school and being in the real world, then that's getting into territory that's generally considered new adult. Oh, and there also almost always has to be a romance plot line, heavy romance plot line for new adult in terms of what is selling. There is new adult that is not romance, but again, in terms of the small amount of new adult that is actually selling right now, romance is at the front and center.
Awesome. So I'm just glancing at the Twitter feed, and I'm super impressed by all the questions, but it seems like there's a theme of tropey things, specific trope questions. So I thought maybe it might be fun if we go through the line and say one trope you love, one trope you hate, and just leave it as a sentence each. And we'll start with Amy.
Tropes I hate insta-love. I've rarely seen it done in a way that felt realistic. So I shouldn't say hate, that's probably too strong, but insta-love is not my jam. I love second chance romance, or where the protagonist or the main characters, because I want to say I'm romance focused. It doesn't have to be romance, but because most of what I'm looking for is set in the real world, I'd love to see a romantic, at least a good solid subplot. And what I love to see is when there's a established relationship between these two people, whether they were friends when they were little and they've grown up together and now they're getting into a romantic relationship, or whether they've been in a relationship before and they've come back to revisit that. Those are two, which I suppose are opposites. Yeah, just don't send me your guy that walks in the room and goes, "She's mine," and that's like it. It won't work.
Hi, it's Alicia. Sorry to change the subject really fast, but I just want to say that at our YA coming of age imprint, we do see 19 and freshman year college students as YA. Just depends on the voice. So don't be afraid to send me your 19-year-old protagonist who are in their freshman year of college, because we publish those and see them out a lot. And if you send me something that says it's new adult, I'm going to automatically assume that it's erotica, and it's not for me. I know that's how the term was coined, but in general, the industry sees that as erotica now. So just a warning on how you pitch it. You might want to pitch it as coming of age instead, even if it's an older character. So tropes, I'll be very brief. I love a great parent figure. So I hate when, maybe we'll put those side and side, when teens have absentee parents, like who are just like never mentioned or never in there, and you're like, what? How do these kids not have parents? Like, how are they running around at all hours and like doing all these things? Like, do they not have anybody watching out for them? Maybe they don't have anybody watching out for them. Like, mention that. And then otherwise, I love like a good relationship with like a parent or a grandparent or a sibling, especially if that like parent or grandparent or sibling is like going through a hard time and you see the bonding because of it, and how the family handles that. Those are things that I love. Thanks.
Hi, it's Judy again. So as far as tropes go, Alicia said that thing about really close to your parents. It's one of my absolute favorites. I love strong dad figures. Not that I don't mind abusive dads either, but I like strong dad figures. As far as romance goes, my favorite trope is childhood friends to lovers. And one of my least favorite things is when a possessive or jealous relationship is shown as like a really good thing. So those are like my absolute no's.
Hi, it's Mindy, and my trope that I absolutely hate is the perfect boyfriend. The one who cooks and cleans and is a volunteer fireman and speaks 3 languages and reads poetry and writes poetry and isn't attracted to any woman except for you. That doesn't happen, so don't write it. I really hate that. Tropes that I love wacky grandmas. Wacky grandmas are awesome.
Hi, it's Kit again. Tropes that I hate. I don't know if I absolutely hate anything, but I would say perfect main characters, similar to the perfect boyfriend that was mentioned. I think main characters that are unflawed, that don't make mistakes, like that is an unrelatable character for me. So I want to see characters that do make mistakes and do have flaws. So that would be a trope that is a no for me. And tropes that I love complicated female friendships. That is something that I really get down with, whether it's a toxic relationship or a really passionately good stand by you relationship. As long as there is really rich 3-dimensionality to that character relationship among teen girls, I am there for that.
Lindsay, would you like to go next?
Sure. Sorry. It's Lindsay again. So I'm super over the tropes of like a fling, like one night stand that from some asshole playboy who, and then it turns into more. And then also the reformed bad boy playboy, like the guy who's just such a jerk. And this girl comes along and she fixes him. Like, there's so many books about those tropes, and I'm really over it. I see a lot of it in New Adult, which is why New Adult gets that bad rap of erotica, because, but anyway, tropes I do really love. Enemies to lovers. So as long as the like enemy backstory is legit and, you know, has enough weight, like I think that makes for an awesome romantic tension. You know, he doesn't have to be a total jerk to her, whereas in the reformed bad boy is most often a total jerk. And I really love a tortured hero trope in whatever way. My book was dubbed too dark for Hallmark, so I apparently write romance on the darker side of things.
Awesome. And Lisa, would you like to go next?
Okay, so I guess maybe one of the reasons I am going more into fantasy is because maybe I am really getting sick of all tropes. I don't know how to say this. I'm really tired of like the jerky guy that, you know, has a heart of gold underneath the jerkiness. I'm tired of the quirky manic pixie, the little manic, like the quirky girl with the red hair that, you know, she's awkward and, you know, I think you know what I'm talking about. There's just these types that keep coming up and they seem very 2D to me. So what I want is a fleshed out, genuine human character, as human and original as possible. I want complexity. I want interconnections, relationships. I want to know about them. I like sibling rivalries. I like to have a parent in the scene. And I guess I like fantasy because it just lacks, I could focus on the characters and not have to worry about, you know, how cool they are or like, you know, who they're texting or whatever. I don't know, I enjoy that, and I feel like there's a lot of opportunity for imagination and really cool world building and stuff. So, you know, I really like good world building in fantasy, really clever and interesting world building. So that's it.
Natalka, would you like to?
Yes. I think that I'm with Kit. I don't love a perfect character who starts off perfect unless they're taking a very, you know, a very steep tumble. Tropes I love are obsessive female friendships. I love the movie Heavenly Creatures, Peter Jackson's movie. That to me is like, if I could get a book like that, I'd be so happy. I love diversity in age and diversity everywhere, but especially like my book has a very strong mother, daughter, and like a wacky Golden Girls kind of figure in it. And I would love to have that sort of span of ages. I think, and I was going to mention that actually in the what if a character is too old for YA. I don't think any character is too old to be in a YA, I guess. Yeah.
I'm Rebecca Sky. The tropes I love. I do like a good enemy to lovers, but like, I can't remember who said it. The enemy backstory has to be legit. I love girls who don't realize how strong they are, who over the course of the manuscript realize how strong they are. That's an awesome one. I really also just adore good sibling relationships, and I really like the big older sibling sticking up for the younger sibling sort storyline there, or, you know, Katniss Everdeen style. And tropes, I don't like the bad boy who's secretly good. If there's a bad boy, I want him to stay a bad guy. I want to see the complexity of him. I want to see that there is sparks of good, but that sort of thing. So yeah, I don't want it just to be like a flip the switch, they go from bad to good for the sake of a relationship or something like that. I love complexity in my characters. And yeah, that's me.
Mine are kind of the same. I love and hate the mean girl trope. Like, if it's a really poorly done mean girl, not for me. But a really great complex mean girl, oh, I could read that all day. Anyway, we are past the hour. This is the end of our show. Thank you so much to our wonderful mentors for coming on and talking with us. I will be tweeting out their usernames on Twitter in case you missed that and you want to go ask them questions later. They may be lurking on the tag if we didn't ask your questions. Thank you for watching, and good luck, everyone, with Pitch Wars. And good luck to all you people for, picking our mentees. I'm nervous already. Have a good night, and see you tomorrow. Bye.